Good evening to all of you. Namaste. It views health as something that is quantifiable and measurable. So do you believe that health is all the time quantifiable and measurable? Is a deeper question that is to be addressed. Yet, it can be often noticed that even if a person is physically and psychologically as per the standardized healthy biomedical protocols, he or she may not sometimes be well. Okay, you may fit into all the biomedical parameters that are protocols and parameters that are presented in the so-called multinational companies chart, but even then you may not be well. So mere physical or psychological fitness does not always ensure an individual's well-being. There are other aspects of individual's life, both internal and external to the individual, that contribute to the human well-being. In order to understand that, let us look at the definition of World Health Organization. Right? We are talking about global conversations, and the global organization that we have is World Health Organization. And what kind of definition of health that it presents? It definitely presents much broader definition than the way we understand health to be merely a biological one. WHO, World Health Organization, defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being underlined, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Okay, so first point that is to be noted is it doesn't try to give, it doesn't try to define health in terms of a negative state like absence of disease. It says no. You cannot define health to be absence of disease. That's binary way of looking at things. And the second point it tries to stress is health is a combination of many aspects, not just physical or biological. It includes biological, physical, mental, as well as social well-being. Social environment is also very important here. And that is how this definition transcends the biomedical definition of health that initially I tried to present to you. For instance, let me ask you this general question, like, when did you feel healthy last time? Have you ever asked, like, am I healthy? Do you ask this question? When did you have the first person experience of being healthy? Think about it. It is important for me. For instance, we often ask this question like, when did you feel that you have a right hand? Right? You just take it for granted. You have a right hand. You have left hand. You have right hand. You never feel it unless something hits it. Right? In the similar way, you experience ill health, first person experience of ill health, whenever you come across that. But you don't actually feel you're healthy. You just take it for granted. You are healthy. So unhealthiness or ill health is an external one. It's not an internal one. Okay. The internal state is basically being healthy. Okay. So that distinction is very important because it's purely philosophical. And this is the one which helps me towards the end to extend the concept of health to the environment. Okay, so and also when it comes to health, we also have to understand that health is something that is maintained by the body on its own. Okay, see, the initial biomedical conception of health tells us that health is something that is induced from outside. Okay, which means you take a pill and you become healthy. But actually, they are right to 50% in the sense that when you become ill health, health is induced from externally. But actually, otherwise, being healthy is a natural state that the biological being, your biological being naturally has. Okay, so that's a natural state. This is what I wanted to stress. Health is not something that is externally induced. It's a natural state. You don't even have first person experience of it. You don't every day, every time feel about it. You take it for granted and move further only when you come across ill health. Okay. What is this philosophy that we are looking at? So how do I relate philosophy to the health and environment that I tried to explain? With regard to philosophy, we have, as I often stress again and again, we have huge misunderstanding about philosophy, unfortunately, among the common public, even among our own colleagues, right? Within academia, even our own colleagues, our own friends from neighboring departments do not have proper understanding of philosophy, because of which, right, philosophy is neglected much. And I believe, I often say this, I believe even some of our own faculty members within philosophy academia also do not have proper understanding of what philosophy is, except their narrow walls into which they were chained. Okay, so there are three misunderstandings that we find with regard to philosophy in general. One is that it's only a religion, but fortunately, philosophy is not equal to religion. And in fact, we have a branch called philosophy of religion, where we scrutinize the concepts of religion in a very philosophical way, in the sense that very reflective and in-depth analysis happens. And it is also misunderstood. Philosophy is misunderstood in the sense that it is not related to this world, at least. No, it's metaphysical, which means beyond this physical world. That is also a huge misconception, because the philosophy definitely talks about this world. Say, for example, if physics scientists talk about atoms, and if you say that talk about atoms is talking about world from a beyond the world perspective, it looks ridiculous, right? They are definitely talking about this world. Similarly, philosophy also talks about this world. It talks about creationism. It talks about environment. It talks about physical particles, atomism. All these aspects are part of it. And third misunderstanding that we find with regard to philosophy is it's not related to my life, at least. Right? This is also a big misunderstanding. And I strongly argue, in fact, I'm now giving a series of lectures at Indian High Commission in Jamaica, where I'm trying to present philosophy for everyday life, where I'm taking up various aspects of everyday life, of the individual human life, and trying to see and show how philosophical insights would be useful in addressing such kind of human life concerns. So that's how I strongly believe, and also present that philosophy is definitely related to this life and your life and here and now. It's a discipline that addresses the fundamental assumptions of all disciplines. That's how it's called mother of all knowledge. In fact, every attempt by an individual to know something is considered to be philosophizing. Even the definition of philosophy that you find in terms of love of wisdom and philosophy begins in wonder, all these concepts try to present that through philosophizing, or through the inquisitiveness of human nature, that all the other disciplines have evolved. And this is established by the fact that even now, the highest degree in any discipline is called PhD, which means Doctor of Philosophy. So even if you have done PhD in biology, you would be getting Doctor of Philosophy in biology, any other discipline as well. So what about health? Is it that only human beings have health? If health, as I explained, is understood to be the maintenance of the balance of the components of the biological system and the environmental system around it, and social system, physical system, psychological system, etc., the balance of all of them, with all the other aspects of human life, then can we extend, okay, whether health can be extended to environment as well? So is it that health is only for the individual human beings, or health can be extended to environment is my concern. Okay, so now I'm trying to connect health with environment. So we have understood what is being healthy. Okay, and now I am extending it to environment in terms of whether health has environment, and whether we can consider pollution to be ill health. Okay, then what is the health of the environment? If I try to connect them, the question that comes forward is, what is the health of the environment? How do we reach out to it? Okay, it's not just what is it, it is also how do we reach out to that is a very important aspect. Often, when people have identified that there is environmental degradation that is happening and pollution which is capturing, enveloping all of us, people thought there is a kind of anthropological arrogance, I would say. Okay, I am coining this word, anthropological arrogance, that we have, that all of us have. Somehow humans have understood that there is something that is going wrong because of the human action, not just human action, excessive human action, in terms of excessive interference with the natural processes, and in terms of not just excessive intervention, but excessive manipulation of natural elements and natural processes around us. Okay, this whole thing results in pollution and ill health of the environment. So somehow human beings have understood that it is their actions which are causing harm to environment. Now, if human actions are causing environment, they're trying to find out solutions in terms of like United Nations global, what is it called? Millennium Goals, etc., that we have, through which individuals were asked to do more action. So for example, human beings have understood that water is getting polluted. So you do some more activity to purify water. So they thought, in order to, the water is to be purified through another kind of human action. Since human action is polluting water, I should try to do more action to purify water. Similarly, we are doing it with the air, okay, and other natural elements as well. So this I would call anthropological arrogance, in the sense that since I induce ill health to the environment, only I can induce health into it. So this is on the basis of initially what we understood in terms of biomedical understanding of individuals' human health. So since health is not understood by us, unfortunately, as a natural state, though it is a natural state, we thought health is to be induced into us. Similarly, we thought we should induce health into environment. So if we understand how health is maintained and managed by the smallest, how do we come out of this situation? Okay. So I thought if we try to understand how health is maintained and managed by the smallest biological organism, probably we may get a hint of how to maintain health of the environment. So when you look at the nature around you, environment around you, there is life, right? And there is life means there is a small thing, smallest biological organism with which the whole life is composed of, right? If we can understand how that smallest one is managing its life, managing its health, probably that provides us a hint as to how do we understand the health of the whole environment. This is the kind of hypothesis with which I am moving. So this took me to reach out to something called cell, human biological cell. All of us are composed of cells, right? Biological cells. Our skin, each of our organs, everything is composed of human biological cells. Let me not call just human, okay? Biological cells. Let us look at this cell, biological cell. It's the basic component of all biological life, in fact, all life, okay? And it is not that it is the basic component of all life even cell has life. Okay, say for example, you look at your skin. Okay, it's not a layer. No, it is the skin is basically composed of innumerable cells. Okay, sitting together here, which appears to be skin. Okay, and each of these cells have life, which means they have birth and death. Okay, the cell here, when it originates, it has a memory of its possible death. So it comes into existence with the memory of when it is going to vanish, okay, die. And it is not that that cell has the memory of its possible death. All the cells surrounding that cell also know when this particular cell is going to die. That's what makes the surrounding cells to create, to work on the replacement of the cell which is going to die. Okay, and this whole process happens so harmoniously, so naturally, so painlessly that you don't even recognize it. Right? See, so many cells are dying every day from your body. Do you feel the pain of it? No, you don't know. Let me tell you one interesting thing, friends. All the cells, are you the person who was born to your mother? We think that, yes, I am the same person who was born to my mother. But actually, all the cells with which you were born have already left your body by the time you arrive at your 25th or 30th year. You're not the same person who was born, because all the cells with which you are born have already gone away. Right? So much of change that happens within you. And look at this. Though the skin is composed of the cells which continuously take birth and die, we are so much concerned about the color, shape, and smell of the biological system, the skin, etc., the body, right? So that looks actually ridiculous to understand in a deeper way. But anyway, let me take you further. Well, why do I start with this cell? So cell has birth and death, and cell also has health. I said cell has life, which means cell has birth and death. Cell has memory of its possible death, and the surrounding cells also know when it's going to vanish. So that's how they also have the memory of the possibilities of a future. And cell also has health. This is the most important aspect that we have to look at. What do we mean by health of a cell? Okay, so don't think that I'm just talking nonsense. Okay, I am talking, whatever I'm saying now is on the basis of a Japanese cell biologist by name Yoshinori Osumi, who has won Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016 for his work on autophagy. Okay, I'm talking all this on the basis of this Nobel Prize winning research, right? So now let me try to explain what is this health and also health of a cell in terms of looking at the calendars. How are these calendars related to health? That looks nonsense, right? Because calendar for us is something that hangs on the air. Now wall calendars have disappeared and calendars have become digital. So we all have calendars in the mobiles and laptops. So, but that's not the only calendar that you have, you know. Beyond these artificial calendars that we have created as human beings for the sake of our artificial world that we have constructed around us, there are two natural calendars that that work for us. Okay, we may not notice them, but there are two natural calendars which work for us. One is calendar of life, and the other one is calendar of health. Okay, the farmer is concerned with the longevity, you know, how long you live, whereas the latter is rooted in the capacity to act, within which the process of degeneration and recuperation imbued. Okay, the first one talks about like calendar of life is how long you live, and there is a calendar of health that operates within you. Okay, each of your organs in the body have calendar of health. Okay, and what is this calendar of health? Basically, they know when they are getting degenerated, and they also need some time for recuperation. Okay, see what happens when something is degenerating. It's not that if something is degenerating, it continues to degenerate all the time. No, everything in the nature continuously gets degenerated and recuperated. Okay, so this is the biological calendar, which is very important, which works in human beings, within human beings, every organ that you have, even the cells that you have, and look around every tree, every animal, every element that you find in the nature has this biological calendar working well, which means degeneration and recuperation continuously happens. As I said, cell gets originated, cell gets removed, cell gets replaced. So it's all like degeneration and regeneration. Okay, so it's a process that happens within the body, which is considered to be calendar of health. It must be noted that the process of degeneration and recuperation largely determines your longevity in terms of your lifespan. Okay, though degeneration is a part of natural process, stretching the capacity of activity by diminishing the possibility of rejuvenation affects the health calendar intensely, and thus adversely affects the life calendar of any natural element. Okay, let me explain this with the help of a cell. So, for example, how does a cell maintain its health? Cells, when you are doing some activity, all the cells are also working hard to make you do what you are trying to do, right? When you eat, it gets into the body, it gets into every part of the body, and it gives work to every cell that you have in the body. Okay, when you eat, it gets into the body, and how does it gets into the body and reaches to every part of the body? Through the work of the cells. So cells continuously work. Okay, and since they continuously work, they also degenerate themselves. Cell is the smallest one, right? Smallest one in the body. So it works hard, and this smallest one also gets degenerated, which means it becomes ill. So if it becomes ill, is there any way through which it can become healthy? You cannot induce health into it. No, you cannot say that I'll give a tablet, or I'll give a injection and try to rejuvenate its health. You cannot do that. So how does recuperation of health happen? You don't have to do anything. As a human being, you should just stop eating. Okay, then cell gets sufficient time, because once you stop eating, it gets relaxed. It doesn't need to work on the food that you have consumed. So it stops for a while. When it gets time, it tries to consume its own degenerated part, and that's how it regains health. This is the smallest biological cell keeping its health, preserving its health, maintaining its health. Okay, so this is called autophagy, and for this professor Oshumi has got a Nobel Prize. Okay, he established that the process of recuperation by consuming the damaged and degenerated assemblages is understood to be autophagy, a health calendar concerning cells, and Professor Oshumi has identified this, because of which he was given Nobel Prize in 2016. Through his research, Osumi proved that what activates autophagy in human cells to recycle and renew their content is fasting. Fasting means pause your food. Don't eat. No, you don't have to eat every day so many times. It says you fast for some time so that your body can maintain its own health. You think that only by eating you can maintain health, right? And you keep on eating. In fact, it is the other way around. It says you stop eating so that I can maintain my health, right? So how can pausing food intake contribute to the recuperation of the human cell? This is possible because the health calendar of the cell requires that it should not be fed further so that it consumes its damaged structures and thus makes space to rejuvenate. This is the basic principle of recuperation in nature, a calendar of health. Okay, so now take this further to the nature. Okay, calendar space, right? For instance, Ganges, one of the popular rivers in India, a perennial river that flows from Himalayas, in India, is the best example. It is observed that during the lockdown, the measure of dissolved oxygen, how do they measure the healthiness of the water? By identifying the dissolved oxygen. They found that it increased from 3.8 ml from liter to 6.8 ml from liter in just 1 month, from March 6th to April 4th. Okay, it's like less than 30 days time, and there is such a huge increase in the oxygen content in the water. Okay, so this is the best example that we find when human intervention pauses how nature can recuperate itself. Similarly, some of the metropolitan cities around the world which have been enduring high levels of pollution have transformed themselves to be places which improved air quality. It is found that nitrogen dioxide pollution decreased by an average of 40% in Chinese cities and 20 to 38% in Western Europe and US during 2020 lockdowns. Okay, so all this proves to us without any experimental expenditure. So you don't have to do an experiment and spend a lot of money to know this, no? That there is a natural calendar for renewal of health that are made visible to all of us during COVID-19 disaster. So that's where, what should we do? So I believe we anthropological arrogance again, we think that we are the only intelligent beings. In fact, everything in nature is intelligent.